Welcome to another episode of Latin America Review. Today we're talking about lithium with none other than Bolivian Vice Minister of Energy Technology Alvaro Arnez.
Lithium is the future's most important natural resource, crucial for the transition away from fossil fuels. Lithium is needed for electric car batteries and a lot more. It's truly white gold, and Latin America has more than 60% of the world's known reserves, primarily in the salt flats of Bolivia, Argentina, Chile, as well as in Peru and Mexico.
Starting with the socialist government of Evo Morales, Bolivia has operated on the belief that this resource should not be sold to foreign corporations, that it should be managed by a state company for the benefit of Bolivians. Evo's government built factories to industrialize it, to build the value-added products like batteries and not just export the raw materials.
These factories were closed after the 2019 coup, with the intention of privatizing everything. But when democracy returned in 2020, the government of Luis Arce reopened those factories, and Bolivia is now seeking to be a leader in industrializing lithium.
Thank you so much for being with us on Latin America Review. Begin with telling us a little bit about what you do and what your office is here in Bolivia.
Good morning. Look, we deal with lithium, nuclear technology, and green hydrogen. Our charge here is the Vice Minister of Energy Technology. And of course, since we have the highest reserves of lithium in the salars, we have a lot of work in order to make an industrial production.
And tell us a little bit, what kind of happened. Maybe take us a little bit back because we had this government, the movement towards socialism government here for about 13, 14 years, and then there was a disruption. What happened during that period, and where are we now in the industrialization of lithium?
Of course, we already start with our own company with YLB, all the industrialization of lithium. And 2020 was a hard year, not only for the COVID, because we stopped all the projects in this period, but we already start all the productions. We close all the circle about industrialization because we produce right now lithium carbonate because we have pots who has a raw material in order to produce this lithium carbonate. We produce cathodes and we produce batteries, but in a pilot level. That's why we want to start at the end of this year using DLE, direct lithium extraction, in order to make more production starting, of course, next year.
Explain to us a little bit about what lithium is used for and why why Bolivia has gotten so much attention around the world for its lithium. I know that there's this vehicle that exists here in this country that people use. Tell us a little bit about what the interest is.
Yes, I will ask everybody, Bolivians are, of course, foreign persons, to Google it, Uyuni, and they will see that we have the biggest salar in the world. You can see it from outside the planet, of course. And for us, these resources has a responsibility because right now all the planets has to change about using the for example, gasoline, diesel. These hydrocarbons make all the pollutions. That's why we have to change all the matrix about using green energy. Lithium is one of the key of this changing because right now all the lithium carbonate or lithium hydroxide is going to all the EVs, electric vehicles, because right now we have a lot of demand of these materials, special cathodes and batteries, in order to produce electric vehicles. We hope that all the foreign persons could visit this perfect and very nice environment that we have right now in the Uyuni, but we want to make industrial production. Of course, we want to respect all the environment and the Mother Earth.
Great. And another question I had is that I guess I heard Lucho, President Luis Arce, speak at an event in the US last year, and he was talking about the process of industrializing with help of some other countries. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, indeed. Our president went, of course, to U.S., to England, in order to show how the economy of Bolivia established a new model. Of course, making strong all the production, especially industrial production for basic chemical and or the industrialization of hydrocarbons at the beginning, and now the lithium. We start talking, of course, with countries like Argentina, Chile. Uh, you already know about this triangle of the about salars in South America, but we start talking about with Mexico too, in order to establish one entity that could help us in technology and to go to cathodes or batteries. We know that it's very hard to produce electric vehicles, but we hope to at least in this 2025 to produce cathodes and starting producing batteries.
And tell us a little bit, maybe expand a bit about, so it's the technology that's needed, but also a little bit of expertise that exists in other countries that can potentially help here in Bolivia.
Yeah, that's an interesting question because right now all the countries who has resources, for example, Argentina, Bolivia, Australia, Chile, they only produce raw material. They are not producing, for example, batteries or cathodes at industrial level. That's why all the industrial countries, for example, US, Europe, China, Russia, they are buying right now this lithium carbonate in order to produce batteries. We want to go forward in the industrialization. That's why we want to produce at the end of the 2024 and better 2025 cathodes and batteries. And of course, we want to deal with companies like maybe Toyota or some other companies who wants to produce electric vehicles. That's why it's very interesting. All the productions raw materials are going to industrial countries like USA, for example.
And what is the potential going forward with these sort of discussions that are happening between Bolivia and the other producers of lithium in Latin America?
Yeah, it's as a matter of fact, right now here in South America, for example, Argentina and Chile has a exportation very big comparing Bolivia right now because we only have one pilot plant. For example, Mexico has another kind of raw material, but we have resources, and we want to go forward with the technology because the know-how is one of the key for this business. That's why we want to deal. We will have international congress in order to have a contact with countries like US or Europe or China, for example. And for example, in Europe, we have countries like England, like Germany, who wants to go forward with in helping Bolivia. But right now, we want to deal just with direct lithium extraction, and that's we have 4 companies from China, 1 company from Russia, and 1 company from US.
I guess maybe if you can explain a little bit how this plays into the greater kind of development scheme of the government and the plan that really just began in November 2020 when Luis Arce took office.
Yes, our president has a very fresh knowledge about how we have to industrialize our raw materials. That's why in lithium, we have to establish, we have a mandatory from him that we need to make a lithium production as one of the column of the economy of Bolivia. That's why we have to go forward really fast with DLE, and I think we are in good steps. We plan to sign with good companies at the end of this year and start all the productions. That's why right now we already know that lithium is for batteries, and of course, if you storage energy and you can use it as a green energy, for example, using photovoltaic panels or maybe using aeolic energy, we can go forward and help the planet in an environmental way. That's why our president has a really fresh view of industrialization of this kind of raw material like natural gas or lithium.
Another question I have is, well, if we were to go to uni, we did actually go to uni and we shot a little thing there, but it was actually with the movements there. It was in I think after the elections, maybe before the inauguration of Lucho Arce. And so, if we were going to go there and see the facilities and everything, kind of explain what Bolivia has there, as like, myself as a tourist, a foreigner, but also a journalist.
Fantastic. When you go to uni, especially, and not only for tourism, you can go, of course, very near to the plants. We have brine pots. We have one plant producing fertilizer, like for example, KCl is potassium chloride that we already sell for Brazil and Chilean market. And we have for the next year, we think in the middle of the year of 2023, we are going to start with our own plant of lithium carbonate of 15,000 tons per year. So for us, this kind of infrastructure is the starting of the industrial production. And these two plants are going to be the strength of the beginning. Our president Lucho already told us that direct lithium extraction should be parallel to this plant that we already have in Uyuni and make a strength of the traditional technology. Though this new technology is going to be faster, is going to be cleaner, and I think Bolivia needs, since the basic economy, the new model of our president is to make an economy who is blended and who is strength from inside to outside. That's the key.
Well, thank you so much. It's been great speaking with you and learning about what Bolivia has in terms of lithium and trying to explain a little bit of that. There's been so much interest around the world about that. Thank you so much, Minister.
No, thank you, and please Google it. Uyuni is not only for tourism. Right now, is going to be one of the strength of this government about the economy, selling, exporting lithium carbonate at the beginning, and for us it's going to be really clear to produce cathodes and batteries in the closest time.
Thank you so much. Now we'll turn it over to Ollie.
And welcome to the culture section that we do or here on Latin America Review, where we talk about food, history, music, and culture from the countries of our different guests. And we're talking about Bolivia, but our friend Vice Minister, you're from the region of Tarija, the department of Tarija, I understand. And I think when people think about Bolivia, foreigners, they know about La Paz, the Andes, perhaps they know about the Amazon. I think less is known about the southern regions of Bolivia, which has a very different geography. Could you explain a little bit about the characteristics of Tarija as a region and that whole area that borders Argentina and Paraguay, for those who aren't aware?
Thank you so much, because I'm really excited about to explain my region. Of course, we have a really great environmental. We save all these environmental that we have in Tarija and El Chaco. I'm from Villamontes. We have a macro region about talking about all the uh, cultural that we have, especially with Paraguay and Argentina, that we have closest cultural, not only in, of course, in dishes that we want to talk about. We establish basically our dishes in pork and meat, of course. These two columns of course, we want to explain how we prepare these dishes, and we of course we make a lot of invitations for all the friends that we could visit Tarija in order to go to wine schedules that we have there, and of course in Del Chaco we have a lot of meat.
That's right. Tarija is, of course, the main wine growing region of Bolivia. So what we do in this section is I lay out an imaginary dinner party with food typical to where our guest is from, and then at the end you give me a score out of 10. You evaluate. So since we're talking about Tarija has amazing food and drink. But I wanted to go for a starter. In Bolivia, of course, the tradition is to have a soup as a starter, right? But I wanted to go for something a little bit different. A dish I haven't actually tried yet from Tarija, cangrejitos. A platter of cangrejitos, which is crab, but it's small crabs, right? And my question would be, I mean, I've had crabs, for example, in Ecuador. They're big, and you eat it with a hammer and the normal way. But in Tarija, the crabs are very small. So how do you eat it exactly? Do you take it apart or do you eat it whole? How is it eaten?
Yeah, perfect. Where we cook this, we fries these small crabs, and you have to, if it's better if that you use butter in order to fries, and since they are small, you just take one piece at a time, and it's great. You can make of course dishes that you can make with these crabs with rice or some salad. That these kind of dishes are really great.
And it's from crabs from the river, right?
Right, is of course is these kind of crabs are really great when I try it with butter. It's the best way.
Excellent. So for the main dish, something I absolutely, which I have had in Tarija, which I absolutely love, is a chancho a la cruz, a big chancho held over a fire. And I remember during the campaign in 2020, we were going around with Andrónico Rodriguez, and we were in the Chaco Chuquisaqueño, which is not Tarija, but just right above it. We did about 5 rallies in one day, and each place they gave us an entire dish of chancho a la cruz. And I loved it. I was eating. After 5 dishes, though, you get a bit full, right? It's okay. It's a bit much. And I remember at like 10 p.m., we got a call from now Vice Minister Alvaro Ruiz. And he said, come to Tarija, to my house. So we went, more chancho a la cruz. So 6 plates of chancho a la cruz in one day. But could you explain a little bit about what the setting in which people have chancho a la cruz in Tarija? Because there's a whole wider social situation which you have it in with the music, with your friends, etc. When would you have chancho a la cruz?
Yes, this is one of the speciality of this macro region. We have to explain that Santa Cruz, Chuquisaca, Tarija has a macro region that is called El Chaco. And El Chaco, it's the same, of course, the cultural way in part of Paraguay and Argentina. So this pork is, of course, has a specialty in, for example, in Tarija. We cook it, we make a special barbecue in order to put this pork, and the taste is really great. And of course, when I ask what is the special way to do it here, they told us if you use a young pork, is the best way that you will have the best dish of all of your lifetime.
Excellent. And of course, we have a drink, and Tarija has lots of special drinks. As as we said, a wine growing region. But for me, my favorite drink anywhere in the world, my favorite liquor anywhere in the world, is Singani. Singani, which is made of grape, It's a clear spirit. It's would you say it's your favorite drink in the world? Because they have pisco, pisco in Peru, which is also from grapes. But I think Singani is better. What do you think?
Yes, we have Singani. Wine and Singani comes from grapes, and since you already told us, it, almost the same of Pisco, but it has his particularities, especially in the taste. You have to mix it. Of course, you use lemon, and for my advice, I don't know if going to make some market, but I love it with Canada Dry. I love it.
That's ginger ale.
Yeah, I love it, and of course when I go to Tarija I tried wine and this kind of mixes established with we have many in the market. Casa Real is one of the biggest. Before we have San Pedro, and this kind of Singanis are the best when you mix it, of course, with pork.
Yes, absolutely. And so to finish off, we got to have as well some music in the background. And I think some of my favorite music in Bolivia, and Bolivia has so many different types of music from the different regions, but one of my favorite is from Tarija, both the cuecas tarijeñas, the chacarera from the Chaqueña regions. But one artist in particular I want to have playing in the background is Nilo Soruco.
Oh.
Nilo Soruco, tarijeño, a member of the Communist Party. He was tortured, exiled during the military dictatorships. What does Nilo Soruco mean for people in Tarija? What is the history behind him?
We have a lot of respect of Nilo Soruco. He explained his life, of course, through his own life. The example of he gave us, all the young persons there in Tarija, they'll have a really special feeling about Nilo Soruco. And personally, I think that the person who told me they were friends, close friends with Nilo Soruco, they only have really good things about and advices from him. That's why he is one of the persons that he has an example for all the young persons there in Tarija.
Yeah, and I think especially during the year of the coup and the persecution that existed and the exile that many people were forced into, his song La Caraqueña, I think was very important during that year. It's like a timeless song, I think.
Yes, I think music in Tarija is very special. Since I have a lot of friends in Tarija, more than 50% of my friends in Tarija play guitar. So they love music. And Nilo Soruco explained by his letter how we have to deal in your day by day. You have to be a better person. That's why when I talk with all my friends who personally meet Nilo Soruco, they only have really good things about him.
Excellent. So let's sum up. We've got a starter. We've got a big plate of cangrejitos that everyone can share. We've got chancho la cruz burning. We've got a chuflay, a jug of chuflay, which is the Singani and the ginger ale on the table. And we got Nilo Soruco playing in the background. How would you rate this dinner party out of 10? A score out of 10?
Oh my goodness. Well, I have to be honest. When I deal with hydrocarbons, I was really close to friends there in Tarija and El Chaco. Now that I'm dealing with lithium, I'm going to Potosí and Oruro, who has the biggest reserves of different region. But I really miss all these parties that we have with my friends in Tarija and El Chaco. That's why from 1 to 10, definitely 10.
Excellent. I think that's the second time we've ever received a 10. So thank you very much, Vice Minister, for being with us here on Latin American Review.